another great edition of the Auburn Mix. Joining me today, Eugene Asante.
Let's work.
Let's work. Eugene's ready to work. We went to work on some great food here, provided by Vintage 2298 Restaurant and Butcher Shop. Chef Randall Baldwin is the owner here. He's amazing. He fed us steak, elk, mac and cheese, all the fixings. If you need someplace great to eat, visit Vintage 2298 Restaurant and Butcher Shop. We appreciate them for hosting these segments. Eugene, let's jump right in here, man. It's the off season. You're getting ready for next season, right? The defense did fairly well last year. What kind of goals do you have for yourself this off season, man? What's Eugene Asante working on this off season?
Yeah, man. I think the biggest thing for me is just to grow upon the foundation I set last year. I think we personally, there's some things I put on tape that I wanted to show and display, and just evaluating and understanding that there's things I got to improve upon, and not being afraid to attack those weaknesses. Certainly something I just thought about, and going into the offseason, I wanted to attack my weaknesses. And man, the biggest thing is just trying to bring this team to where I know it can be. I know what we can do. I know the standard that we've set. I know what we're demanding of guys. So the biggest thing is just trying to build upon those leadership skills, trying to develop as a player, and ultimately have a great season.
How different is this now with DJ Durkin and Charles Kelly? Like, you did well under Ron Roberts. Before we started recording, you described Ron Roberts as a guy who gave you a chance to be the best player you could be. Do you feel like you're going to continue that under this new staff?
Yeah, I certainly feel that way. I feel like Coach Durkin is certainly somebody that has a similar philosophy. Coach Durkin is somebody that implements an aggressive style of defense, and I've asked that they coach me hard. I'm okay with those tough conversations, and I'm excited to get to continue to work with Coach Dirk. But I say, Coach, treat me like I want to be a pro, so treat me like a pro. So man, and sometimes when you say that, you give somebody the right to do that. You open up, they're able to critique you, and that's what I'm not shy. I don't shy away from criticism. And Coach Kelly does a great job with the back end and just teaching them and coaching them up. He's certainly somebody that's super experienced in terms of everything he knows, like all the people he's worked with in the back end, his time at Florida State, Bama. So, man, we're excited to keep building this thing and getting this thing rolling.
You came in from North Carolina, right? So you committed there, decided it wasn't in your best interest to stay there, and now you're here at Auburn. The portal is madness in college football right now, right? You got a chance to transfer and kind of start your career over. But for the guys that are coming in, what wisdom would you impart on kids entering the portal and looking for a new home? I mean, you're somebody who did it. You found success. You got lucky to run into a coach that believed in your talent. But, what about the kids who may be nervous to jump into the portal?
Yeah, the portal is like the wild. We talk about it's the wild, wild west. Like now, I think it's gotten crazier now than when I hopped into the portal. But, man, I would just recommend to anybody that's hopping into the portal that, man, just keep the main thing the main thing. At the end of the day, being taken care of is important. You always want to be taken care of. But I think the biggest thing is prioritizing, getting the opportunity to go out there and showcase what you believe you can be. And having a coach that believes in that game plan for your life, So going to a place where you can be developed, going to a place where you can grow as a man. I think those are values that hold true to me as a young man, that when I was hopping in the portal, that was the biggest thing. And, so ultimately, I think the biggest thing is telling them guys, like, you're going to have real conversations. And if you want to develop and get to where you need to get, I think those things, the values and the morals need to be prioritized other than the compensation and what somebody can do for you.
Yeah, you talk about the compensation. That's exactly where I was going. NIL also is changing the landscape of college football. Do you get a sense that in an era where guys are getting paid essentially to do this, that your teammates are keeping focus on the development piece and playing football at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think that's something we certainly talk about all the time. NIL is something that we harp on, and I had the ability to go to the SEC Leadership Conference in Birmingham. And
Okay.
the biggest thing we talked about in those meetings was NIL and how to handle it and all the things that are going on. And I think in terms of the team, we just continue to harp on having success as a team. You know, the biggest thing is going out there and playing and showing the foundation and laying the foundation for what we want to be. You know, so we have those discussions. We have those conversations about, you know, those hard conversations about NIL. And honestly, we talk about it's not, you know, it's not fair to everyone. You know, some guys may not get paid. Some guys get paid more than others. And,
That's life, though, right?
And it's life, you know. So just making do with what God gives you, and that's the biggest thing. And just being grateful for what God gives you. And you know, I remember a time for me, man. I remember a time where I was just relying on my scholarship, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, this is just even a blessing from God, just to get a little bit of NIL money. So I certainly hold that true to my life, and I want guys to understand that and heed to that advice.
That leadership conference, is that something you're chosen for, or is that something guys can elect to go attend?
I believe I was selected by our staff or administration. But man, going to I've been around, you know, a lot of guys from all the SET teams and flying in, and it was a great experience, you know, just sitting there and talking to each player from each representative from each team, and we talking about, man, I remember we played y'all and this happened. And I remember, man, when we played y'all, the ball popped on the ground. So it's like, it was just a great experience sitting down with all them guys and talking about all the games we had this season. And I think we have a meeting coming up here in July, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the media days is in July, certainly. So I would not be shocked to see your name on the list of Auburn players chosen to go represent Auburn at media days. But you talked about talking with the players from the other schools. One of the things I don't think fans get is what kind of respect you guys have for each other, right? You know, the rivalry for the fans and the rivalry for the players, sometimes it's a little different, right? You know, is there a particular player in the conference, man, that you have a lot of respect for, that you've met and played against?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, you know, when I went to that meeting, I think I built relationships with different guys from different schools, and man, I respect Jahad Campbell. He played at Alabama. He's a linebacker there, man, and they're doing some great things on defense, and they've shown some great things on defense. So, man, we're chopping it up, and we're at the conference, and certainly somebody I respect. I've seen him on tape, man. He's a great player. So, York. Torian York.
Okay.
Yeah, he played at A&M.
All right.
I like him too. I seen his game. You know, especially because Coach Durkin came from A&M.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so we see a lot of them, a lot of their film on tape. So when they studying, but he a good linebacker, man. He play downhill. He aggressive, man, and you know it's good. Just I'm a football junkie. Like I really live and just watch tape, and I admire watching guys on tape that do good things. So. Them boys in particular, some guys I look at.
Eugene, any friendly wagers made at this leadership conference? Like, look, I respect you, but we're gonna whoop that ass in the fall, right? Yeah.
Nah, we was talking junk though at the table. We were like, man, when I see y'all boys again, I promise you we're gonna whoop y'all boys.
Okay, all right.
So, we ain't made no wagers, nothing. But I told them that. I told a couple of them boys, like, when we see y'all this year, we coming. We really coming. So that was it. But they you know, they gonna talk back and they be like, man, we ain't worried about y'all, boy. Like, you know, but it's all good. It's
gonna be interesting to watch it play out on the field. Let's talk about let's work for a second.
Yes, sir.
Right. You've been known to yell this randomly. Your teammates have told me sometimes you'll just be walking to class, yelling, "Let's work." Where does "Let's work" come? What birthed "Let's work"? Where did that come from? Where did that mantra come from?
Yeah, I think it kind of embodies everything, like who I am as a person. You know, I was a kid. I'm from Virginia, so you know, I wouldn't consider myself a Southerner. Some people consider Virginia the South, but I wouldn't consider myself a Southerner. So
it's kind of tween.
Yeah. So. Man, I just, you know, like I didn't start getting recruited into my senior year of high school, and you know, I've just always been somebody that my work had to stand out for to kind of be noticed, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, being an undersized linebacker, you know, they throw around the term undersized linebacker, but you know, I just always like somebody like I always knew I had to work harder than most people in this profession. So the biggest thing to me was just, you know, I was watching my guy Shabata Mitch. Shout out Shabata Mitch, man. He played Madden. He a Madden streamer.
Okay.
And he my favorite streamer, man. And I was watching him, and man, I just see him walking around playing the game. He yelling, "Let's work!" And I'm like, man, like this kind of encapsulates everything I believe in, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I've had conversations with Shabata, man. I'm trying to get him to come down to a game. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I just started saying it to the team, and it's kind of just gravitated to something that's like a part of my lifestyle and who I am. And I really believe in that, and I really just want people to understand that everything that you see in terms of me is encapsulated within that saying. Let's work.
Mm.
Yeah.
Last year, Eugene, you guys did very well, all things considered, defensively.
Yeah.
You held a lot of opponents under 14 points. Almost half of your opponents last year you held under 14 points.
Yeah.
What's going to carry over this year? Like I said, you got some new leadership on the defensive side of the ball, and Charles Kelly and DJ Durkin. But, you know, how does Auburn football build on the defensive momentum that you guys started last year under this new staff?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is understanding the foundation we laid for last year, understanding what we put on film, and then just being true and honest to ourselves. You know, whatever we have to critique and whatever we have to improve upon, taking it on head first. You know, like I think the biggest thing is just football is always it's a game where everything is developing, and you have to always have a growth mindset within it. You know, so you know, just being real with ourselves and looking ourselves in the mirror and saying, you know what. I got to work upon this, or I got to improve this within my game. So I think Coach Durkin and Coach Kelly do a great job in holding guys to the standard and understanding that in order to be a great defense, and they've seen great defenses, in order to be a great defense, we have to put our best foot forward. We have to, you know, the biggest thing is winning the battle with the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know, so, and once we do that, we can bring people along with us, you know. So that's the biggest thing I'm trying to challenge myself to do, man, is just, you know, look myself in the mirror and say, man, what do I got to do to improve? And don't shy away from it, man. It's don't shy away from it. Don't run from it. It ultimately is going to get you to what you want to be and your goals and your dreams. So, man, I think it's a full circle thing, and we're trying to build it up for the season.
You've got 8 home games this year.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of schedule. Look, Oklahoma and Texas joined the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn does not play LSU for the first time since 1991.
Yeah.
You don't play Ole Miss for the first time since 1989. And Mississippi State is now on the schedule for the first time since I think like 1951. It's been a really, really long time, so this is going to be different. Now, those 3 fall off the schedule, but you add Missouri, Kentucky, and Oklahoma coming to Jordan-Hare for the first time in the history. Is there a game that you have circled here? Like, listen, 4th and 31, it had to sting, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
is there, I mean, in your mind, it's easy to say that the Iron Bowl is top of mind, but is there any game not the Iron Bowl that you have circled?
That's a good question. I think the number 1 game I got circled, and I know people say, like, I believe in it too. I'm not going to sit here and not say I don't believe in it. I believe in not overlooking any opponent.
Sure.
I prepare for every game the same. My preparation is the same.
However,
I'm going to say that I'm going to give you 2 games.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the Cal Part 2.
Oh, okay. And you won that game last year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Cal Part 2 just because, you know, I'm a person that I don't take disrespect lightly.
Are we talking about Jaden Ott's comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I
All right.
I don't take disrespect lightly, and ain't no disrespect without retaliation. You know?
Okay, so, all right.
That my first game. I think Oklahoma at home that's gonna be a crazy environment.
It's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
So those are the 2 games I certainly circled, especially home games. I got circled, and I'm like, we gotta come and play our best football, best brand of football.
Cal is now in the ACC,
Yeah.
right? I was talking to this. I was talking about this with somebody last night. So they're no longer in the pack because the pack is no more.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jaden Ott very famously said in front of the camera, essentially something to the effect of, "When we get the dub, we have to stay grounded." Like he was almost like he was foreshadowing a win.
Yeah.
That didn't happen for them, and they were in their house. So with them coming to Jordan-Hare this season,
Yeah.
how much harder do you think it's going to be for them? Do you think the environment's going to be a shock to them about like how raucous it's going to be at Jordan-Hare?
Yeah. So one thing I don't take for granted is the environment that we have in Jordan-Hare.
It's incredible.
Nah, I don't take that for granted, and especially when players from other teams in the conference talk about how electric that environment is, and just how tough it is to play there. I certainly think it will be. It's certainly something they have to get accustomed to, and it's not an easy job coming in there and playing getting a dub, to be honest. So I think certainly will be something that they got to prepare for. But man, that game, I tell you 100% that's something like I think about that a lot, and like I'm an intentional person, so like when stuff like that happens, when somebody, you know what I'm saying, when somebody disrespect us, we handle it on the field. Like,
for sure.
We don't go on the internet and we talk about it. We handle it on the field. So
Sam Jackson is now an Auburn Tiger.
Yeah.
So he came from Cal. Did he give you guys any intel on them offensively?
Nah, we talk. Nah, he didn't give us no intel about their offense, but he talks about that game and just talks about like what him and Jaden at the time were trying to do in terms of, you know, bringing guys along and just letting guys know that, you know, although they're a SEC team, we don't, you know, we don't fear them because they're an SEC team, whatever.
Right, yeah.
But, you know, we talk about that game a lot. You know, Sam is certainly somebody that's a great addition to our team, and he just brings us that perspective, a new perspective into the locker room, and we have a lot of conversations like that. And he's certainly somebody that's gonna help our offense out at receiver, man. So
sure.
Yeah.
Listen, Cal fans were gunning for me on Twitter before that game.
Yeah.
I talked a lot because I never like when young people bluster before a game like that.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was. You should be confident, but I didn't think it was a smart thing for him to say out loud. And so he said it. He couldn't take it back. Obviously, he didn't have a bad game, but like I think you guys forced the fumble. Like you hit him. You hit him a couple times.
I don't think he finished the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He got hurt.
Yeah, he didn't finish the game.
He didn't finish the game.
No.
So mission accomplished. You know, I never wish for anybody to get hurt, but obviously it was a little tougher, I think, you know, coming in and having to go through that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So, yeah, Cal, I think for you guys, because it's a Power 5 non-conference game, thank you. Since it's a Power 5 non-conference game, this kind of game sets the tone for your season early, right? Having them come into Jordan-Hare and you know, you have Alabama and A&M first, but you get a chance to test yourself versus Power 5 talent, somewhat, right? To see where you guys are at. You start off the first 4 games, you know, before we started recording, we talked about how important those first 4 games are.
Yeah.
I think Auburn can start 4-0, maybe 5-0 to start the season. But, you know, is Cal a must-win? Is that a game that you feel like is a must-win for you guys?
Yeah, I understand how important it is early to start with momentum leading into the season. And certainly I believe that's a team that we got to put our best foot forward for. You know, certainly there wasn't an easy game going up there last year. And we understand that. And they had a hostile environment going over there. So just being home, we have to understand that that's a game, as well as Alabama and A&M early in the season. We got to, you know, build this thing the right way and get wins early on in the season to lay the foundation for our season and to build momentum into those games leading down the road. So I think, you know, those early games, people are like, oh, you know, whatever. But I really feel like those games are really important in terms of building the foundation of a team and building momentum that leads throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah. Eugene, before we started recording, we were talking a little bit about what you like to do in your free time. You're a gamer,
Yeah.
right?
I'm a gamer, yeah.
Yeah. You play Madden, you play Call of Duty,
Yeah.
like God of War,
Yeah.
and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like, you're my kind of gamer.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about your, I think, former teammate now, Coy Moore. He bragged about being one of the best Madden players in the world. You said he's unbeatable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, where do you rank in the team hierarchy of Madden players?
Yeah, man. I talked about Coy, man, and man, he's you know, when you rank in tiers like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, man, he's in tier 1 and he's up there on the top of the leaderboard. Man.
Okay.
Man, he's like our team. When it comes to our team, he's by far the best player, man. And I done played him several times. Man's that gave me headache. I be up all night trying to scheme it up. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be good. He can't stop this scheme. He come through, beat me by 21.
You
man.
said that Coy is spotting people 14 points to start games. Yeah,
he's that good.
That's wild, man.
But,
that's wild.
Him, J Bill, who now works as a GA for us. Mm-hmm. He was certainly somebody that was electric. He's like tier 1 too. Mm-hmm.
Now you came here from UNC. Like, what's the environment like for you? How different is it in Auburn from UNC? Right?
Yeah. Man, I just being here in Auburn, man, and getting accustomed to this environment. You know, we talk about SEC environment, how impactful that is, man, and I really feel it truly every day. Like, coming from Carolina, we played in some really big games. We had a lot of good teams over there, and the environments were electric in terms of just playing ball and just going out there and doing what we need to do. But I can probably say, I mean, I've been to a couple of their basketball games too. And those are those are life-changing things. Like, you want to be a part of moments like that, going to a basketball game.
Yeah.
But man, just being a part of Jordan Hare, being in Jordan Hare, playing games like that, I don't think anywhere really compares to.
Yeah.
Nothing really compares to.
There's only a few, I think, sporting events that are bucket list type things. Yeah. Right. So, personally, a Duke basketball game is on my list. Duke's on my list. Yeah.
You're going to the indoor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've done a Yankees Red Sox game. That's pretty in New Yankee Stadium. That's a wild environment. Mm-hmm. Green Bay Packers. Yeah. Home game is on my list as well too. As far as
you ain't never been to a North Carolina basketball game?
No, I haven't.
Got to.
Yeah. That's wild stuff, I've heard.
Yeah.
So,
especially when they play Duke, it's not to be played with. And on top of that, man, like, the traditions they have there, like, I remember when you beat Duke, they go rush. Their famous street is Franklin Street. So if you beat Duke, you'll see, don't drive your car in Chapel Hill, you beat Duke, because through Franklin Street, because you are not going to be able to get there. Everybody's going to rush the street, and they're going to take about hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours to clear out. It's crazy.
Did you catch some Auburn basketball games this year?
Yeah. I was try to show up and support the boys in any way I can, and man, them boys did a lot of good things.
Yeah, they had a good season.
Yeah.
We went out to Spokane for the first round of the NCAA tournament. Obviously, they didn't win. Yeah. But Janai Broom returns for another season here at Auburn.
Boy, nice. Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, like, what the sports culture at Auburn is like. You know, you hear at other schools where, you know, football is popular, but a lot of the other sports don't get any attention. Yeah. You know, is it crazy for you being at a school where, you know, Bruce Pearl calls Auburn an everything school? Yeah. Right? Does it feel like that from you as an athlete?
Yeah.
Like it's an everything school?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's an everything school, and just seeing what they did this year in terms of going out there and winning that SEC tournament and playing the way they did, man. Like, they won.
They dominated in Nashville.
Yeah, they won several games more by double-digit points. They weren't just winning games; they were beating people. So, like, man, I'm excited to see everything they do this year, man. Having Janai back, being a leader in that room, and him being an All-American, somebody that has done it at a high level, and just building around him. So, like I really do truly believe it's an everything school. We got so many different sports that are doing great right now. Our women's basketball team made it to the tournament, got into the tournament. So
Yeah, Johnny Harris is doing something special on that side.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
Eugene, let's close out talking about goals for this season. Last season, you had some great moments, and then there were some disappointing moments. I feel like you learned the most from the disappointing moments.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Yeah, like learn from your failures quite a bit. The two that stand out in my mind are New Mexico State and 4th and 31 versus Alabama. Internally, what's the feeling about how you guys will springboard forward off of those moments, right? Like you had Alabama beat, and Jalen Milroe makes a throw to the corner of the end zone, and the rest is history. But like before we started recording, you felt like that play shouldn't be Ron Roberts' legacy from last season exactly, right? Like what he accomplished here was more than just that play.
Yeah.
But how have you guys talked about those moments internally, and how not to repeat maybe some of the not so great moments from last year?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is evaluating and understanding. Those things are hard things to even endure and to be a part of. Just to be in a game like that, in an environment like that, where the game is essentially won, and a 4th and 31 prayer wins a game. So the biggest thing is to evaluate what we got to do. To not be in situations where the game is on the line like that. How to win close games, and we're still learning. We got a new staff. We got Coach Freeze and his staff, which is a new staff. So we're just trying to develop and understand that within those moments, what can we do to win games, pull out tight games. So I think the biggest thing is looking ourselves in the mirror, understanding that there's things that we have to do as players. There's things that the coaches have to do. Everybody, it's all a reflection piece, and just putting our nose to the grindstone on working, and understanding that every day we can improve upon something. Every day we can improve upon a piece of our game that can lead to us getting more victories. So the biggest thing is in terms with New Mexico State. I think the biggest thing for that week, and I like to be truthful and transparent.
Yeah.
I think the preparation wasn't the same in terms of internally.
Maybe they overlooked New Mexico State a little bit.
I think truthfully and honestly, I think we overlooked. I'm including myself into this, so I'm saying I think we overlooked them, and I think guys were like, man, we playing New Mexico State, man. We good. Like boys might be in by no.
Yeah.
And that's truthfully and honestly in football that talk and that logic needs to be removed from the sport.
Yeah.
Like you can't overlook nobody. Like those guys are even hungrier than the guys might be hungrier than the guys that we play on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
Because they're like, man, we playing Auburn. This is our Super Bowl, and that's the biggest thing, man. Those guys came in with a good game plan.
It was a disappointing game to lose, but it's encouraging to hear that at least internally, the messaging, I guess, around those games is going to be never again. Never again, right? So, well, Eugene, thanks for taking some time to sit and talk to me about what you're doing this offseason and where Auburn football is going next season. We appreciate you taking some time to sit down and talk with us.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Guys, that's it for another great edition of The Mix with my guy, Eugene Asante. If you want more content like this, please hit like and subscribe. We are The War Report on every social media platform. TW Report on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, we're